wait, pause for a second. 43 million views in under 24 hours? 43 million! Druski just dropped what might be the most talked about skit on the entire internet right now, and the reactions are straight chaos. You've got conservatives going off, the left laughing and crying at the same time, and even Grok, the AI, is jumping in, straight up saying it's Erika Kirk like she's a real person. But here's the part nobody's really breaking down yet. Behind the scenes, quiet conversations are saying Erika Kirk is seriously upset right now.
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God, and that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
And once you see everything that built up to this moment, it starts to make a lot more sense why things are getting tense. This situation runs way deeper than just a comedy skit, and it's not as simple as people think. Now quick, if you somehow don't know who Druski is, here's the deal. His real name is Drew DeBoards, and this guy has turned himself into one of the most viral comedians online right now. No question about it. No Netflix deal, no major studio backing him, nothing like that. Just straight skits, wild prosthetics, and a tight team putting out content that hits every single time.
But we serve a just God, and I rest easy in knowing that. He's sovereign, but he's just, and so let the Lord handle that.
A few months ago, he dropped this megachurch skit playing a prosperity gospel pastor called Collect and Praise Ministries. Yeah, that one had people talking everywhere. He literally ziplined onto a church stage wearing designer clothes like it was a full show. Then it got crazier. He's demanding $4 million in tithes, counting stacks of cash backstage like it's normal. That video pulled in tens of millions of views, and real pastors were responding during sermons. The whole internet couldn't stop talking about it, and here's the wild part. He never said a single real name. He didn't need to. The audience connected the dots on their own every single time. That's his formula, and it's low-key genius. Heavy prosthetics, no direct call-outs, but the character is so specific that everyone lands on the same person. He lets people think they figured it out themselves. That's what makes it hit harder every time. So when he dropped this new skit called How Conservative Women in America Act, rocking a blonde wig, full prosthetics, and a sharp white jacket, yeah, you already knew this was about to go off. The full setup, everything dialed in. People weren't just watching another comedy sketch. This felt like the next chapter tied to one of the most talked about figures in America right now, Erika Kirk. Now let's really break down what went down in this video, because the level of detail is actually wild. The effort put into this skit wasn't basic at all. It was layered, sharp, and clearly planned out. Whoever worked on Druski's wardrobe and makeup seriously snapped. People online were saying it didn't even look like him anymore. It looked like a completely different person. The skin tone, the facial expressions, the energy, every little detail matched up in a way that caught people off guard. Then the skit kicks off, fireworks going off, 2 American flags in the background, and his character dancing on stage.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Right there, that opening alone feels like a clear reference to something very specific, and viewers picked up on it instantly. That opening? People immediately linked it to Charlie Kirk's massive memorial in Arizona. That wasn't random. That felt intentional, like a direct nod. No coincidence at all. Then the skit shifts into a mock press conference about the Iran war, and his character is out there talking about praying for soldiers while completely dodging every serious question thrown his way. It keeps escalating too. Next scene, a Starbucks drive-thru, casually ordering an organic pup cup, clearly poking fun at a very specific lifestyle people recognized right away.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted.
After that, it flips into a faith testimony segment. He's holding a Bible, speaking on the Holy Blessed Trinity, really leaning into that tone. And then comes the moment that had the internet going crazy. His character walks up to the podium and says, "We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about. America is built on their backs." And right when that line drops, you can see a guard in the background visibly react. That detail alone had people replaying it nonstop. Clips of that moment spread everywhere, fast. And here's where it gets smart. Druski never once actually said the name Erika Kirk anywhere in the video. Not one time did he say the name, and he didn't need to, because things took a wild turn when someone on X posted a still from the skit and asked Grok, that's the platform's built-in AI, who the person in the image was. And Grok replied with just 2 words, Erika Kirk. Not Druski dressed as Erika Kirk, just Erika Kirk. That response alone pulled in nearly 500,000 views. The AI completely walked into it, and honestly, that just made the whole situation even crazier to watch unfold. But here's the part that really connects everything, because Druski didn't just make this out of nowhere. This skit lines up with something Erika Kirk actually said in real life. Just 2 weeks earlier, on March 11th, she showed up at a press conference in Arkansas alongside Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. The event was focused on Turning Point USA, expanding its Club America chapters into high schools and colleges across the state. Pretty standard political movement stuff on the surface. But then she stepped up to the mic and said, word for word, don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man.
That new Druski skit that just came out dunked on Erika Kirk so hard. Holy shit, bro. Oh my God. He framed it as how conservative women act, but go watch the first clip and who do you think of?
That line right there had people reacting immediately, and now the connection to the skit is a lot harder to ignore. That clip exploded on X and TikTok, completely took over people's feeds. Everyone kept replaying it nonstop, and the phrase, young white male man, turned into a meme almost overnight. On top of that, viewers pointed out there was a black student standing right behind her while she said it, which added even more attention to the moment. So when Druski's character steps up and says, protect all white men in America, that didn't come out of nowhere. He was clearly echoing what she had already said, just flipping it in a way people instantly recognized. Within hours of the skit dropping, social media was flooded with side-by-side clips, Arkansas footage next to Druski's version, and the comparison felt almost too exact. Now this is where things shift a bit, because people close to the situation are saying Erika Kirk is extremely upset about the skit. According to those reports, she sees it as deeply offensive, not just politically, but on a personal level too, as someone still dealing with a very public loss. And that context matters. Charlie Kirk was killed in September 2025, and since then, she's been pushed into the spotlight in a very intense way. Now, on top of everything, she's become the focus of one of the most viral comedy skits online, and that's adding even more pressure to an already heavy situation.
Who's the first person that come to mind? Erika Kirk is like mother to these conservative women, right? Like the Laura Loomers and the Kristen, Caitlin, whatever, the White House press secretary. And Druski nailed it to a T. He nailed him to the cross. Always talking about, I love children. I love the Bible. Oh my God, that hurts so bad. And then their husband die and they start dancing the fireworks. He looks fucking terrifying. The makeup he put on looks terrifying, but like it's not a far cry off from how terrifying.
She hasn't said anything publicly yet, but people around her are definitely not happy at all. And online, the reactions were completely split right down the middle. On one side, the support was massive. Millions of reshares, people calling Druski the GOAT, saying this was the funniest thing they've seen all year. One reply alone pulled over 500,000 views saying, trolling Erika Kirk and all conservative white women, you might be the GOAT. But on the flip side, the backlash hit just as hard. And it wasn't only critics. Even some of Druski's own fans were pushing back. Conservative media personality John Root posted, this is too far, man. You were completely disrespectful during NFL honors, and now you're making fun of Erika Kirk, whose husband was brutally assassinated.
The makeup actually looks on, that they wear. That seriously might be some of his best work, and I already know they're gonna come for him. Oh, stop doing whiteface, Druski. It hurts because it's true. What they need to realize is it hurts because you got clocked. This is what the liberals call clocking your T. Your T got clocked. Someone's got to put Druski in like witness protection for that. I ain't gonna lie.
Right-wing journalist Dom Luker also spoke out, saying some things go too far when it comes at the cost of a grieving family. And even regular supporters were chiming in with comments like, I love your work, bro, but this ain't it. So while the video is blowing up everywhere, the reaction isn't one-sided at all. It's a full-on divide, and both sides are getting louder. The debate is seriously split. People are going back and forth asking, is this fair satire of a public figure who chose to step into politics, or is it crossing a line by targeting someone who's still dealing with a very recent personal loss? That's the exact conversation taking over the internet right now, and nobody can seem to agree. And just when it felt like things couldn't get any crazier, something else dropped at almost the same time as Druski's skit, and it's sending people deep into a rabbit hole.
Have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God, and that is why we say our prayers. We are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
An older video of Erika Kirk resurfaced this week, and in it, she's featured in what looks like a full promotional style video connected to the CIA. She's on camera talking about grid vulnerabilities, cyber threats, physical threats, even mentioning solar EMPs and man-made EMPs, breaking down risk analysis like she's briefing officials. And people online are stuck on one question. How did she end up in something like that? Who even gets called in for a video like this? Social media is going off trying to piece it all together, and with everything already surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, plus all the theories people have been talking about since September, this just added another layer that has everyone talking even more. People are out here connecting dots, whether it makes sense or not. Candace Owens has even been pushing her own theories about Charlie Kirk's death, openly questioning whether Erika's grief is genuine, and that's creating real division on the right. This isn't small talk anymore. There are clear cracks forming, and people are picking sides fast. And then this CIA-style video pops back up the exact same week Druski drops a skit pulling 43 million views, parodying her. The timing has people raising eyebrows like crazy. It all feels too lined up for some viewers, and they're running with it. But at the end of the day, Druski did exactly what he's known for. He spotted a moment.
Willing to bet that Erika Kirk is pissed about the new skit that Druski just released. Can't nobody say that this man is not funny. And I fear Druski ate. The first part of this skit, he shows up with the sparklers in that all white outfit. Let me tell you, he got the look right all the way from the hair on her head to the shoes on her feet. Stop.
Built a character around it and let the audience do the rest. And let's be real, 43 million views in a day speaks loud. Whether you think it crossed the line or had you laughing the whole time, one thing is clear. You can't ignore the impact it made. And here's the part people are starting to realize now. This isn't slowing down anytime soon. The clips are still spreading, more angles are popping up, and new people are jumping into the conversation every single hour. What makes this hit even harder is how replayable it is. Every time someone watches it again, they catch something new. A facial expression, a background reaction, a small detail they missed the first time. That's why it keeps circulating and pulling in more views. Meanwhile, bigger names are starting to weigh in, and once that happens, things usually level up even more. Because now it's not just internet chatter. It starts crossing into mainstream attention, and that's when the pressure really builds. And the big question hanging over everything right now is Druski going to respond, double down, or just stay quiet and let the moment ride out?
Then the devil stare that nobody can forget. And once again, I fear Druski ate. Then he goes into the weird, awkward scenes where it always feels like she's making herself look like she's crying.
Because if there's one thing about situations like this, it's that silence can be just as loud as a response. And don't forget, this kind of moment doesn't just disappear. It usually leads to what comes next. People are already watching closely to see if this turns into a bigger back and forth or if it just stays as one viral flashpoint. Because if Erika Kirk decides to speak out, that could completely shift the tone overnight. A public response, an interview, even a short statement, any of that could push this into a whole new phase where it's not just about the skit anymore. At the same time, Druski has built his whole style around letting the content speak for itself. No explanations, no chasing controversy, just drop the video and let people react however they're going to react. And so far, that strategy has worked almost perfectly for him. So now everything is kind of sitting at a standstill, but it doesn't feel quiet. It feels like buildup. Because all it takes is one response, one new clip, or one unexpected twist, and this whole situation could spike all over again. And this is where things really show how the internet works now. A single skit doesn't just stay a skit, it turns into clips, debates, reactions, and full breakdowns happening all at once. Everyone becomes part of the story, whether they're laughing, criticizing, or trying to analyze every little detail.
And no, he couldn't forget the hand gesture, because she never fails to do this after she gets done looking like she's about to cry, and then throwing his twist on Erika Kirk's weird speeches that just never land right. I just know Erika Kirk right now is sitting back looking at this skit with those devilish eyes. She is so mad about this. because I'm afraid that Druski didn't miss one time with his representations of Erika Kirk. But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
What started as a comedy video quickly turned into a full-blown cultural moment. You've got politics, media, influencers, and everyday people all colliding in the same conversation, and that's why it feels so big right now. At the center of it all, you've got one video, one character, and one decision that sparked everything. And now it's moving in directions nobody fully expected when it first dropped. So whether this fades out or turns into something even bigger, one thing is locked in. This wasn't just another post scrolling by. This hit different, got people talking, and turned into one of those moments the internet doesn't forget anytime soon.
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the,
And if you really step back and look at it, this whole situation is bigger than just one video. It's showing how fast narratives can form and spread when millions of people are watching the same moment at the same time. One clip turns into a headline turns into debate, and before you know it, everyone's got an opinion they're ready to defend. That's exactly what's happening here, and it's moving at a pace that's hard to keep up with. At the same time, it also highlights how comedy and real-world events are starting to overlap more than ever. The line between entertainment and serious conversation is getting thinner, and moments like this sit right in the middle of that tension. So now it's not just about who's right or wrong, it's about how these moments shape perception going forward. Because once something reaches this level of attention, it doesn't just disappear, it leaves a mark that sticks around long after the views slow down. So now the real question is, what does Erika Kirk do next? Because every time she responds to something, it seems to make the conversation even louder. This cycle hasn't slowed down since September, and right now, there's no sign of it stopping anytime soon. At this point, anything she says or doesn't say could shift everything again. That's why people are watching so closely, waiting to see what move comes next. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Druski went too far, or was this fair game? And that's a wrap for today's video. Make sure you like, subscribe to LoafTube, and share this with someone who's been following this story. Don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. Stay locked in, and I'll catch you in the next one.